Hello, my name is Carson Ostrum, and I'll be playing the role of an equipment sales professional for a company called AgPro. AgPro is a privately owned John Deere dealership that also offers a wide range of agriculture-related products. Today, my customer will be played by my friend Alan, who will be playing the role of Mr. Jordan Brown. Mr. Brown is a small-scale, third-generation organic farmer, and he owns and operates his farm with his family. After having multiple conversations with Mr. Brown over the phone, I can tell that he values his family's importance very much, and that they are the most important aspect of his life. With this being said, I will be invoking the supportive communication sales call strategy because I really want to create a strong bond to promote our sales relationship. The product I will be selling is a 5100 low-profile specialty John Deere tractor. This model is specifically made for people who want the power and performance of a larger scale tractor, but do not want to have to deal with the size and low visibilities. A possible objection for this tractor is the price, because initially it looks like it's higher than the competition, but once you look more into detail with it, it actually has a much higher added value than the competition. The sales process is taking place in Mr. Brown's home, and we have previously communicated several times over the phone. He and his family are looking for a smaller tractor that can help them expand their farming operation. Mr. Brown is looking for a machine that he and his entire family can operate, but that also has the power to get the job done. During the sales demonstration, I will be the first using the case study handling objection, and this is where Mr. Brown will feel insecure or unsure about the product feature, so I'll tell him a previous experience that I've had that will hopefully satisfy him. The second handling objection that I will use is a demonstration strategy. Since I know it's very hard for customers to make a big purchase like this without actually seeing the product, I actually brought the product with me on a trailer, so I'll be allow him to demonstrate how it works, how it drives, and let him just kind of test it out. And finally, I'll be using the turnover closing strategy to complete this sale. And this is when the customer is still not completely satisfied or sure about making the purchase, so I will, in this specific situation, I will get in contact with a colleague in the finance department who will go through how Mr. Brown can potentially finance a sale and work through how the payments work so he's comfortable with everything about that. And that's how I'll do this sales presentation. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Brown. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, so I have some visual aids over here for you on this paper or on the computer, whichever you want to look at works for me.
All right, sounds good.
So how are you doing today, Mr. Brown?
Doing pretty well. The family and I actually just finished eating lunch a couple of minutes ago.
Oh, that's good to hear. How is the family, by the way?
They're doing well. My oldest son, Brett, he's turning 13 next week, and I promised I would teach him how to use a tractor once he became a teenager, but as you can imagine, he has been reminding me every single day.
Yeah, I remember that when my son was growing up. He's much older now, but when he was growing up, I'd tell him to go get ice cream next Tuesday, and he'd tell me every day leading up, oh, Dad, we're getting ice cream, right? We're getting ice cream. But of course, somehow I always forget to take out the trash. It's funny how kids do that. But he must be proud that he's really taking an interest in the family business, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I just can't believe how fast they're growing up. How about you? How long have you been working for AgPro?
Well, actually, after I graduated from UF, my family and I, we moved up to Atlanta, Georgia, and I actually started my career working with AgPro. And so I worked out there for about 12 years in Georgia, but once my son grew up and moved out to college, my wife and I have always been big Gator fans. We love the UF experience, we love the Gator Nation, and we really wanted to come back. So it just worked out that we noticed that AgPro had opened up a Gainesville store, so we took the opportunity, we relocated. I moved out here with my wife, and for the last 4 years, we've been working out of here. And what's so cool about that is AgPro has just blown up since then, so I know it was the right move, because when those four years ago, when those 4 years started, we had about 34 locations nationwide, and now we have up to 84, I believe, with goals of getting up to 90 by the end of the year, which is just crazy.
That's great. I'm glad it worked out so well for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Okay, Mr. Brown, so what exactly are you looking for in a tractor? Like, what do you need it for? What do you need to do?
Well, my family and I have decided to expand our operation. We want to increase the amount of vegetables that we can produce, but unfortunately, our current tractor is old and is falling apart. My wife has been telling me to replace it, but I've been using it for so long that I just couldn't get rid of it. But now that we need to expand, we need a better machine.
Yeah, I really understand that. Taking a big step to expand your operation can be scary, but so do you have any specific features or needs that you really want this machine to be able to do?
Well, I really need the machine to cover a lot of ground. It needs to have a powerful engine that allows it to run quickly and efficiently. I can now have my tractor getting stuck in the middle of the mud, because I would need every second of daylight to work. Also, I would really like a machine that isn't too large. I see all these super heavy duty machines online, and I just can't picture myself using one. Plus, I need a machine that can easily maneuver through my farm. There are lots of tight turns and low-hanging trees, so a tractor with good turning abilities would be ideal. Plus, a smaller machine would be easier for my kids to learn on.
Right, because I remember us talking on the phone. You really talked about you would like a smaller machine because you have tight corners. Plus, your kids would like to be able to use it, so they obviously can't take one of those large, giant scaled machines out, and they'd probably run over all your stuff. And the low visibility would be exceptionally helpful for them.
Yeah.
So if you're willing, would you like to go more into detail and learn more about the product I have in mind for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, great. Let's do it. All right, Mr. Brown, so I really feel like our 5100 low-profile specialty tractor really fits all it needs that you've described so far. It has a lowered frame and a lowered hood, so it really offers that really good visibility that you've been talking about, but it also has that really tight turning radius that you said is really key for you to work around the outskirts and inside your crop fields. And additionally, it comes with a 16-speed four-wheel drive transmission, so it really offers a ton of torque and a ton of power when it comes to getting out of tough terrain or through those muddy seasons and the rainy seasons. This tractor, being so small, has a really tight, really big power to weight ratio, so it offers a ton of power throughout the field. And I know you talked about on the phone that you were going to do your own research on this model, so I was just wondering if you already know everything that I'm talking about right now, and if you'd want to move more towards like just discussing like finalizing a sale.
I did do my own research, but I would like to hear some more about the performance capabilities before we do anything else.
All right, that sounds great. We can do that for sure. So if you look here on this chart right here, you see that as I talked about before, we have the four-wheel drive 16-speed transmission, but also what makes this tractor exceptionally impressive is the 99 horsepower it offers, which is industry leading. So before, the 99 horsepower and the 16-speed transmission was only offered in the larger machines, right, because they're bigger, they need more power. But this one, John Deere's finally been able to implement this very powerful engine inside this much smaller base. So it really offers that really tough torque to power ratio. And that really helps you move through all types of land. So I know since you said you're expanding your operation, this extra power could really help you increase your efficiency.
Well, my old tractor barely has 60 horsepower, and while it was slow, we still managed to get stuff done. And it only got stuck when we weren't careful or it was a rainy season.
All right, so just to be sure I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying you don't really see the value added by having the extra horsepower and torque within this model?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so let me tell you about a story of when I was back in Georgia. Actually, we had these two models that were probably our biggest sellers. It was called like the 4100 ML and the 4100 SL, and the ML had about I think 70 horsepower if I remember correctly, while the ML had about 85. And we always let customers try both out, and sometimes we let them test drive them out for like a week on their farms. And the majority of customers always came back choosing the larger horsepower, the 85 horsepower one, because they just felt like it felt smoother. It had much more giddy up. It made them much more efficient because they were able to tow stuff around much quicker. They were able to get through their land. So I really feel like, and specifically, I knew this one person. His name was Matt Bryant. I remember his name to this day, having 10 years ago, because he had the same example where he took the more powerful tractor, and he came in and would tell me that his wife thought he wasn't doing any work and he was just out like messing around because he would finish his stuff so much faster than she was used to. So that just kind of like stuck in my mind.
Yeah, that does make sense. I definitely have become attached to my old tractor. I need to give it up now.
All right, so are you satisfied with, like, you can see the value added that this tractor has with the added horsepower and the 16-speed transmission, four-wheel drive?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, that's great to hear. All right, now can you look at this tractor for me right here, Mr. Brown? So as we talked about earlier, it has that like lowered hood and lowered frame, so it's much lower, so it offers a much higher visibility, so you don't just like run over your crops, especially with a small-scale operation like you. A large machine just wouldn't work because the tires are almost so big and it's so wide that you would almost certainly run over stuff that just shouldn't run over. And so with this model, it just offers a much tighter turn, much tighter a much greater ability to move without worrying about destroying anything.
Yeah, I have some big trees around the outside of our property, so this would make dealing with the outer parts much easier.
Yeah, of course. And also another great benefit, this model is actually extremely easy to use. So as I know you were saying you wanted to like train your kids up on this so they could learn the family business. This is a very easy model to use, and I really think it'd be a great way to help start your kids to teach them the business.
Does it come with a seatbelt or some type of harness? Because I do not want my kids to fall off.
Unfortunately, this model does not, because only our larger, more heavy scale machines come with a seatbelt. But over at iPro, we have a full service center where we can easily install one on this machine for you if you want, because we offer that ability to all of our customers.
Alright, that would work. However, I just can't be sure that this tractor will actually work well for me without physically seeing it. I need to see how it feels when I drive it.
I feel you. It's a big purchase, and I know it's a lot to do. So just to make sure I understand what you're saying is before you want to move forward at all, you want to be able to see this tractor physically and test it out.
Yeah, sorry to inconvenience you, but I would not feel comfortable unless I can see it in action.
No, of course, I understand. It's funny you say that though, because it's really not inconvenience at all. Because after we had our previous phone calls, obviously a couple weeks ago, so we already been talking about this model, and I really felt like it had been a great fit. So I actually took the initiative and I brought it with me on my trailer on the back of my trucks, and I have it parked out front. So if you want to go check it out, we can kind of test it out a little bit. We can demonstrate it for you, let you drive it around, see if it fits around your property and all that good stuff.
You came prepared, didn't you? Yeah, let's go do it.
All right, awesome. Let's go. So what do you think, Mr. Brown? Did it work to your liking?
Yeah, I can really feel the power. It has much more kick to it than my old machine, so I have to get used to that. But other than that, it felt great.
That's great to hear. So just to summarize everything we've gone through so far, so I proposed you a model that would offer you the performance capabilities to expand your operation, as well as offer you the reliability to train your kids on for years to come. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so I actually proposed you the 5100 model as we see down here. It has the four-wheel drive 16-speed transmission, the 99 horsepower with the implemented engine from a larger, bigger machine. And it also has that lower body frame for the great visibility, the lowered hood for the great visibility, and that lower frame, which I just said, it offers the shorter turning radius, which gives you more maneuverability around the farm. Do you agree with all this so far?
Yeah, that sounds right, but I'm still not convinced that the price is worth it. Based on your data, your John Deere product is much more expensive than any other model. I really just do not see the added value that should make the price this much more expensive.
Yeah, I understand that, but that just really has to do with like the base price compared to our competition. Because if you look here, our base price is a few $1,000s more than our two closest competitors. But if you look at like the performance capabilities, we're the only one that offers a 16-speed transmission, and obviously with the horsepower, with our 99 horsepower, we offer much more power in the engine compared to them. And that's where you really see the added value, because while the price isn't more expensive, if those competitor models were to be upgraded to meet our standards, they would actually be cost several thousand more than ours right now. So it's really just how you look at it, because John Deere really believes in quality over quantity, so we put our effort in, we have quality materials, quality products, and that's why the price looks more, but it really is an added value benefit.
Yeah, this really answers my concern, but I'm just not sure I can even afford to pay this. It's a lot of money, and I need to get this right.
I understand that, and so if you'd like me to, I could get you in touch with one of my buddies over at Corporate Finance. He could really explain to you how the whole money payments would work, and how maybe you could see that you actually can afford this through like monthly payments. Would you like that?
All right, yeah, that sounds great.
I'm gonna get him on the phone real quick, and we'll get you that information.
All right, sounds good.
Hey Jimmy, what's going on? I have a customer here. He just wants to learn a little bit more about the financing options for the 5100 low profile. Do you have a second to tell him about that? All right, great, buddy. Thanks. Here you go.
Hello? Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, that's correct.
Thanks. How'd it go?
Going well. Your guy really broke it down, and I think I can make the payments work, but can you explain the seatbelt situation again?
Yeah, just so obviously as we talked about earlier, this model doesn't come with a seatbelt, but our service center can easily implement one for low cost, and it'll be very easy to implement. Just make sure your kids are safe, and that's about it.
All right, that sounds good. You know what? I'll take the tractor.
Great. I'm really glad to do that. Let's draw up some paperwork, and we can. Would you like to take this one that we worked on earlier out front, or do you want to have us deliver a new one to you in a few days?
The one out front worked great, so let's just make it easy.
All right, man. Let's do it. Glad to have business with you, and I hope to keep continuing that relationship.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.